Hey everyone, me Kevin here. In this video, I'm going to break down what economists and the Congressional Budget Office think about the $600 per week unemployment boost versus other forms of stimulus. This is important because it's what Congress uses to evaluate differences right now as they prepare to debate the next rounds of stimulus. So basically, by us reading what the Congressional Budget Office says, we'll just call them the CBO from now, we kind of get a heads up on what Congress is thinking of. So keep in mind how this works. Congress comes up with an idea, and then they go, hey, yo, CBO, can you give me an idea as to what this is going to cost? And the CBO looks at the proposal and says, well, according to our research, this is going to have this impact in 2020 and this impact in 2021 and this impact for the next 10 years, and then kind of give Congress all the bottom lines. So that way Congress can go, well, this is why I'm voting for this or not, because they said so. So they're important to look at. And I already read through their entire 8-page brief on this next $600 per week boost for unemployment insurance. See, Senator Grassley, a Republican, requested that the CBO discuss these impacts, and I want to give you those bottom lines. So let's get right into it. But first, if you have not yet, sign up for life insurance, linked down below, super easy to do. You'll have it done before the video is over and get 2 free stocks with Webull in the link below. If you sign up for Webull, make sure you deposit $100 and you'll get a second free stock. You have to deposit $100 to get that second free stock. And then you get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400. Oh, and Lauren posted a new vlog. All right, here we go. Here's what the report found. Congress, or the Congressional Budget Office, found that if the $600 boost is passed, 5 out of 6 workers would get paid more money than they make at work. Not very good. The second thing they found is that only 1 in 30 Americans would benefit. The third thing they found is that the people, when they're unemployed, they tend to spend less money on goods and services, which that makes sense. I mean, we kind of could have predicted that. But it's not just that, because the boost can kind of make you spend more again because you're getting $600 a month. But it's not just that. The Congressional Budget Office kind of reiterated what Jerome Powell says at the Federal Reserve. And that is, when people go back to work after being unemployed for a while, they tend to make less money. And when I practically think about this, it makes sense. Imagine this, you're working at Signorama, you're making $20 an hour making signs, and you've worked there for 5 years. You're probably a really good sign maker. But then when you switch companies, even though you're in the same line of work, you have to relearn how to work for a different company, different customers, different machines, different processes, everything's different. And so when you switch companies, usually your pay goes down. Unless, of course, you're in like bubble world, like Silicon Valley, where every time you switch companies, you get paid more, but that's a little unique. We're talking about the overall economy here. The Congressional Budget Office found the longer you're unemployed, the less money you make, and being unemployed tends to mean you make less money, which when you make less money, the economy makes less money, and everything kind of suffers. This is in addition to the fact that Jerome Powell says while you're sitting on unemployment, your skills get worse. You know, it's kind of like you were really good at math right before summer break, and then you come back after summer break and it's like, what? Right? So this makes us less efficient. And that's actually really bad because the Congressional Budget Office says, hey, this might actually motivate businesses to spend more money on automating, that is not even needing as many employees, and it could affect people's credit scores who are on unemployment because even when they finally go back to work, you know, when the boost ends, they might not be able to pay all their debts anymore or get as many new debts, which also hurts the economy. So, bottom line, the Congressional Budget Office, and this is before we talk about the $2,000 part, the Congressional Budget Office found that if the unemployment boost is extended, we'll have a temporary increase in 2020 to the economy, but economic outlook is going to be worse in 2021. And employment for 2020 and 2021 would be worse because of the boost. So you've got really bad news for increasing the $600 boost. This is like the kiss of death of a report for the $600 boost. So that's the bad news. Now, let's get into a little bit more of the good news. The good news is, well, Lauren posted a new vlog, but the good news, check that out, link below. But the good news is when it comes to stimulus is almost every economist is suggesting we do need more stimulus. And Republicans are starting to notice this as well, as the next round of stimulus, well, could be known as the Vote Keeper package. Instead of Phase 4, instead of, CARES Act 2 or the HEROES Act, the Vote Keeper package. AKA, if you want people to vote for you, how about you actually take care of the people? And The Economist just today addressed that. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at this because this is pretty good. The Economist here says that here's the problem. Right now, most stimulus is ending up in households' bank accounts. Basically, people are saving the money. And we already know that. We already know that 33%, it was the increase of the savings rate that we saw in April from people. And this is even though the income that we're getting has gone up through a lot of the government support programs that exist. And this has people worried about things like inflation, right? We already know that. But the issue is, again, people are slashing their spending and they're slashing their consumption. And this is all fueled by job insecurity. And so really, The Economist today posted this and said, this line right here, this is fascinating. The immediate risk, therefore, is not inflation, but too little amid the slow recovery and economic restructuring. Many firms will emerge from the lockdown with huge debt, and many more workers will move from one industry to another, which is bad. We already talked about that. In such an environment, the chief danger will be that policymakers withdraw stimulus too soon. So think about that for a moment. Here, you have The Economist, along with many other economists like Jerome Powell and other folks saying, wait a minute, folks, we can't kill stimulus yet. Because if we just straight up kill stimulus, we're going to hurt the economy. So the $600 boost might not be the correct choice right now, but we do need some form of stimulus. Every economist is saying we need stimulus, but the $600 boost kind of just got the kiss of death. So let's talk about what's being talked about. We know that Democrats love the idea of a $2,000 per month stimulus plan. A lot of them do, at least. We also know that Republicans like the idea of a $400 per week back to work credit, which, take a moment and do this math with me. $450 in back to work times 52 weeks divided by 12 actually works out to $1,950 per month, which is almost $2,000 per month. But in fairness, the Republicans' version might only apply to people actually going back to work and not to everybody like the Democrats' version would. Fortunately, though, economists and the Congressional Budget Office are all saying we need more stimulus. So I don't think we're actually going to see a straight up check for $2,000 per month, but I think Congress is really realizing, okay, all right, maybe the unemployment boost, that full $600, not the way to go. But we need to spend on the consumers. We need to spend on individuals. And every day that goes by, the odds of us seeing some kind of stimulus that totals $2,000 per month actually goes up. As much as the $2,000 per month as a straight up check seems unrealistic, think about all of the options that could be combined together. Maybe a $200 per week boost for unemployment, or a $450 week for a boost for going back to work. Or how about, in addition to that, tax breaks for going to restaurants and doing some local traveling. Some of these things we would do anyway, right? So it's kind of like, here's money and other benefits and payroll tax deductions, all of these things together. I wouldn't be surprised if when we end up adding up all of these things, they end up being somewhere close to $2,000 per month anyway. It's just gonna be very complicated and blurry because Republicans, in my opinion, don't want to come across as, all right, we caved and we did what the Democrats wanted. Wouldn't surprise me. And we know they want to incentivize people to go back to work. But to me, this is really fascinating. We just saw the kiss of death for the $600 per week unemployment plan that disincentivizes going to work. But that energy is going to go somewhere else. And economists are saying it's not the time to stop doing stimulus. We got to focus on more stimulus. So let's see what this total package ends up being. And as much as I'm frustrated by our Congress and our government right now, I will say I'm optimistic that there's definitely still hope on the horizon for support from our senators and our representatives and our president. So fingers crossed. If you like this kind of breakdown, make sure to consider subscribing. Join me in the courses linked down below. Get your 2 free stocks with Webull. Sign up for life insurance. Check out Lauren's vlog. And until next time.